Well, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I am Cherie, one of the co-founders of the Mobile Internet Resource with my partner, Chris, who is over there across the way. There's his hand
Hello.
doing our production this evening. Chris and I have been full-time nomads by RV and boat since 2006. You can track our personal travels over at technomadia.com. And we founded the Mobile Internet Resource Center about 10 years ago. Crazy it's been that long after we were answering so many questions about how we got internet to work remotely. And also joining me this evening is our teammate Andy McNabb, who joined our team about 7 years ago when his family hit the road. Go ahead, say hi.
Y- Yes, hello. I'm Andy McNabb. I'm lucky to be part of this great team, and I was full time for about a year and a half, and I've been part time for several years ago, and I've been part of the team for quite a long time, and am excited to be here.
We love having Andy. He has become our kind of our lead tech guru, kind of my second brain too. I just love having him on board, and I'm so glad he could join us on this one because he's been helping us track these T-Mobile home internet plans for since they launched a few years ago. Um, so what has happened is go ahead and go to the next slide, producer. All right,
Great.
there we go. T-Mobile has introduced a new plan called Away. They announced it a few weeks ago. It was supposed to debut today, but it has been delayed. And we have an official statement from T-Mobile's home internet department, PR department, saying that they want this to be an awesome experience for their customers. So they're delaying the launch due to an issue that they had with the setup process. Um, don't know what that issue was. They have not given us any more information on that. But this new plan has gotten a lot of backlash in our community. You want to go and overview what the plan is, what they announced, Andy?
Yes, so basically, this is part of the T-Mobile home internet family of plans, except for this is different in a couple of significant ways. One is that this is a plan that is designed for mobile use. So it is really designed for the mobile community. It's marketed specifically at the RV and digital nomad community. And it does come in two options. One is an unlimited data option for $160 a month. Now, you may be shocked at that price compared to the standard home internet price, which currently is $60 a month uh, as the top price, and you can get discounts if that's attached to other plans. And there is also a 200 gigabyte option for $110 a month with the Away plan. Um, so that's a significant increase over the uh, home internet plan, which has been out for many years now. However, the standard home internet plan has had a terms of service in that specifies it is for fixed locations use only, and you're only supposed to use it um, at a specific service address. And the reason is that this plan was designed for areas where T-Mobile had excess network capacity, where they could provide unlimited data on its 5G network. However, they have not enforced this, and so people have been able to use this uh, uh, in a mobile for as a mobile use, and many RVers have taken advantage of this. And in fact, many T-Mobile representatives have sold this intentionally to RVers and digital nomads as a mobile option, even though it's been against the terms of service.
Right. And we do not know the reasons why T-Mobile has delayed the new Away plan. Um, they're saying a technical reason. I would not be at all surprised if behind the scenes that they have heard the backlash on this plan and also some of these reports that the mobile report, who kind of reports on T-Mobile plans a lot, they had a quote somewhere from internal of T-Mobile that they knew that some managers were actually encouraging their employees in stores to fake addresses that were in legitimate service addresses to get even people who were not in those service addresses plans. And then we know that there have been T-Mobile reps and or resellers, sometimes they're just authorized agents, going to RV rallies selling this plan specifically to RVers for mobile use. So they may have behind the scenes decided that, well, maybe they need to rethink these plans and how they're going to handle this. Even though those terms of service have always been very clearly stated, they have not been enforced. And we brought this to their attention when they released these plans and they contacted us about it. We asked them, well, how are you going to enforce this? And they told us they didn't know how they were going to enforce it. That was several years ago. So hopefully internally they're coming up with a better way to handle this transition now that, because we have us RVers and boaters, we're often in areas where T-Mobile does not have that excess capacity, where they're intending these plans to be. So next slide please. Is fixed location enforcement coming? And originally the mobile report had gotten some internal leaked information from the internal employee guides that T-Mobile uses, showing that they would be sending out notifications to people that were not at their registered service address. Now, these T-Mobile gateways that you have to use with the plan do have a GPS chip in them. They know where they are. So T-Mobile does have ways to know that you are not at your registered service address. And the options that they said that they were going to present customers was that you could either change your service address, and that service address would need to be in an area where they offer the 5G home internet service. So if you're not in one of those areas, you would not be able to change your address to that address, or switch to a different plan, which would be presumably the away plan for $160 a month, almost 3 times the cost of the home internet plan. And Andy actually had an official PR statement today from T-Mobile, their home internet department, and basically said this is the first time we have seen T-Mobile actually acknowledge in public or authorize us to share in public that they do have plans to do address validation. But of course, that has been delayed with the away plan being delayed as well. And they're just saying sometime this year at this point. So at this point, if you are using T-Mobile home internet in a mobile fashion or not at your registered service address, you have been granted a reprieve with this delay. So we do not advise canceling the plan until we actually know if or how T-Mobile is going to be address validating. So don't ditch your plan. We do not know at this juncture, however, if you're signing up for a new T-Mobile home internet plan and you don't have an address in the service area to qualify for it, if T-Mobile reps are being advised to no longer use other addresses. So you may not be able to get the plan unless you are legitimately qualified for it going forward. That we don't know. We won't know until we see people signing up for the plan and see this propagate throughout T-Mobile's corporation. So we're going to present some of our alternative plans that you might want to be considering, especially if you want a plan that you want to have decent odds that isn't going to be taken away from you at some point in the near-term future, which we know T-Mobile has plans this year to do so. So first of all, if you go to our website at rvmobileinternet.com/plan picks, and that was a tugboat going by, blowing its horn. We have all of the information on these plans, as well as other plans that might be suitable for you that we're not going to be covering tonight. But we're going to go through plans that can be used in a router or a router is provided. So we're not going over like smartphone plans. We're not going over other sorts of plans. These are ones that could be a router that is serving as a central hub of your internet. So our first one, you want to go over T-Mobile Business Internet, Andy?
Sure. Now, T-Mobile Business Internet is a very similar plan to T-Mobile Home Internet and T-Mobile Small Business Internet. And it's easy to get it confused because T-Mobile Small Business Internet is basically just T-Mobile Home Internet on a small business account. However, T-Mobile Business Internet is a different plan because T-Mobile Business Internet does not require using one of T-Mobile's gateway devices. It's a BYOD, or bring your own device plan. You can activate it just on a SIM and have a SIM sent to you and use in your own device, whatever T-Mobile compatible router that you have. This makes it very convenient if you have a 5G router of your own that you want to use it in. And that makes it very flexible and a great option. It has basically the same terms as T-Mobile Home Internet, except for it does have a couple of differences. It has the same price at $60 a month base. It does have unlimited data. It is deprioritized like T-Mobile Home Internet. It does have the same 1.2 terabyte deprioritization as the T-Mobile Home Internet. It does come with a business feature which comes turned on by default, which you can turn off, which is a feature that turns off entertainment, blocks entertainment sites. Um, but you can turn that off. This is basically meant to stop employees from wasting company time by surfing Netflix and stuff like that. Um, this plan also is promoted as a more mobile option than home internet. As you can see on the slide there, it is advertised for pop-up sites as point of sale, as it's not specifically advertised as mobile, but it is advertised as a more mobile option. It doesn't have the fixed location terms that the home internet does. So we don't really know if it's going to have the same fixed location um, enforcement that the home internet plan will in the future. That remains to be seen. But this does have some significant advantages, at least for right now, over
Right.
the home internet option.
This is the plan that we've been recommending to our members all along instead of going with T-Mobile Home Internet, because a lot of our members want to use their own router to bring together other mobile internet options like maybe Starlink or Verizon or AT&T. So this allows you to use it like in a Peplink router, or maybe you're using InvisiGig or InstaConnect or something else. This allows you to use it on your own gear, not on the provided gateway device that you have to use the home internet or small internet plan on. Now, with the T-Mobile Business Internet plan, while it does have, they are promoting it for pop-up sites and hybrid workers working from home, places not at the primary fixed location address. You do, to get this plan, you do still have to have your business address somewhere where they offer the 5G internet plans. So you still have to have that address validation for your fixed location, but then you can use it in other addresses. Those addresses don't necessarily have to be within where you actually use it, don't actually have to be in that area, at least by the way they are advertising this plan. Now, you might be asking, well, I don't have a business. How do I get this plan? Thankfully, T-Mobile will, if you're a sole proprietor and you can claim that you are self-employed in any way, even if that's like being a blogger or having a YouTube channel and getting a little bit of income, or maybe you do some side gigs or some side hustles, or you work remotely, you can use your social security number and qualify for business. But you want to actually contact T-Mobile Business Department, or else if you go through regular T-Mobile, you'll get probably pushed to the small internet plan, which is the same as the home internet plan. Our members, if you need more information, we have a whole bunch more guidance in our linked resource for T-Mobile Business Plans, uh, coaching you through how to get this set up. And our partner at Mobile Must Have even has some special ways to get it. If you aren't in an address where this is qualified, they do have fixed capped plans that you can get instead. So that is our top option for T-Mobile. But if you don't want to go through dealing with T-Mobile Internet, there are actually two other options. If Chris will advance the slide for me. The first is the Calyx Institute. This is a nonprofit organization that you join for an annual fee, $750 for the first year. That includes a mobile hotspot device and 1 year of unlimited data off of that mobile hotspot device. Now, this plan comes from some old terms that Sprint used to have. And if you remember, T-Mobile bought Sprint a couple years back. Before that, Sprint bought Clear many years before that, and they had this terms where they had to offer low cost plans to some nonprofits. Calyx is one of these plans. They have offered these plans for over a decade now. It's been well, maybe not quite a decade, but it's been a very long time. These plans have been proved to be stable. Now, you do have to use the plan on the provided mobile hotspot device that they give you. can't even move the SIM to another like different hotspot device. So you're not going to be able to use it in a bring your own device fashion. So make sure that you're okay with the hotspot device they provide. The first 100 gigabytes of data is high priority, then it is deprioritized after that. That just means it could be slowed down if you're in areas of congestion. And one caveat on this plan is video has been reported to be capped at 2.5 megabit per second. So you're really only going to get SD, maybe some HD quality. You're not going to get 4K video streaming on this plan. If you want to know more information about this, we do have a information at the link provided there. And the other one is FMCA's plan. If you want to explain what the FMCA is, Andy, since you're actually a member.
Yes, the FMCA is a RVing organization called the Family Motor Coach Association, and it's a organization that any RVer can join. It costs $60 a year for the first year to join, and then $50 a year after that to join. You get all sorts of RVing related uh, benefits. It was originally aimed at Class A RVers, but they've expanded that out to include all kinds of RVers. And one of the benefits that you can get by joining this organization is their Tech Connect series of data plans, and included in that is the T-Mobile Tech Connect Plus plan, and that is $59.99 a month for unlimited data. And this is a legitimate plan that's provided through a master agent, and they do have a BYOD option, so you can get a SIM card to use in your own device, and they do have a rental device option available. The caveat is, of course, that you do have to be a member, and if you're already a member, you do have to have at least 11 months of membership remaining to sign up for the plan. So if you have less than that, then you have to renew, which means that you have to pay the $50 to renew to have at least that 11 months left. And it does include unlimited data. And I forget what the video terms are on that. Do you remember, Cherie?
I do not recall if there was video throttling on this one. I think we did find there was some, and I don't recall at what level it was. And the other thing with this one is they do allow you to pause the service and have a lower monthly fee, like if you're off the road for a couple months at a time. So it makes it really flexible. It is month to month. So if you don't need the plan for half the year, just return the plan to them and turn it back on when you're ready. So it's a very flexible option, and because it is an RVing organization, they know RVers, and they've worked with the carriers and the master agents to get those plans. So those are three great alternative options if you want to stick with T-Mobile that are far less than $160 per month. Right. Now, if you want to look at other options besides T-Mobile, of course, Starlink. And even T-Mobile has compared Starlink to their new Away plan at $150 a month for their mobile plan with Starlink. With Starlink, you do need to purchase a dish from them. There's two options. One is $599 for their standard dish, and then they also have an option for $2,500, which is a higher end than most of our audience needs. So most of our audience does go with the $599 option, and there are currently some refurbs available with their residential plans for $399. There are 3 data plans that you can get with Starlink. One is $120 a month for residential. This gives you standard level priority data, and you can update your service address if you need to move if you want it to be portable. It's really easy to do. Currently, no restrictions on how many times you can move your service address, so that is an option. And then if you don't want to worry about having to move your address, you can pay $30 per month more at $150 per month, not have to update your address, and get lower priority data, which means you will have slower speeds if you're in a congested area. So that is the official one that they promote to RVers and boaters. Well, actually for boaters, they want you to go to mobile priority, which gives you 50 gigabytes of priority data. And that is data that you can officially use in motion at high speeds, as well as use out in open ocean areas. But most boaters like us, we're currently right off the Intracoastal Waterway. That's considered land by T-Mobile, so you can use the mobile Starlink. All right. Okay, yes. So there is also a partnership with T-Mobile that Starlink is going into, launching, being able to have Starlink service on your cell phone. That is entirely different than these plans. We're seeing a lot of confusion out there. This is actually going to be more of an emergency or light bandwidth use on a smartphone, any smartphone you have that has the cellular bands that they'll be broadcasting from space. That is in development. They are launching satellites that support that. This is not going to be broadband Starlink going to your cell phone. So just know that up front. The Starlink service is very different. If you want to learn more about Starlink, we have a full guide to that, as well as a video series going over all the plan options and equipment options and the pros and cons of going with Starlink. Next up is AT&T has some options on. Andy, I'll let you go over this one.
Yeah, so AT&T Business Broadband. This is a business option with AT&T. So again, you need to have a business account with AT&T. To get a business account with AT&T is fairly straightforward, similar to T-Mobile. You generally need a social security number to get a sole proprietor account, to get a business account with AT&T, and then you can get access to most of the AT&T business plans. So the most interesting of these are the business broadband plans, and unlike excuse me, unlike most other plans, these are not do not have data caps. These have speed caps, so they're tiered speeds, unlimited data, but they cap you at speeds depending on the plan you want. So they start with the standard plan, which has a speed cap of 25 megabits per second for $70 a month. This is with the $5 auto pay discount. The advanced plan at 50 megabits per second at $80 a month, and the premium plan at 100 megabits per second at $100 a month. It's important to point out that these are speed caps. Those are not the guaranteed speeds that you'll get. Obviously, the actual speed you get will depend on the location you're in and what the AT&T tower and the equipment you use, the equipment you have will provide. Now, AT&T does have equipment restrictions depending on each plan. So for the standard plan, you do have to have a minimum of an LTE Cat 11 router or Cat 11 device. This plan you can get BYOD with a mobile hotspot or a router. And with the standard plan, you have to have at least a Cat 11 device. And with the advanced and the premium plan, you have to have a minimum of a Cat 18 LTE device or a 5G device. And AT&T does enforce those device minimums. So for example, if you have an advanced or premium plan and you try to take that SIM card and put it in say a Cat 4 device, then they are going to shut that plan down. So you do have to be aware of those device minimums with those plans. So these are very attractive plans because they do provide that unlimited data, and the speed caps, even at the standard plan of 25 megabits per second, that is plenty fast for most people's needs. That provides plenty of video performance, and these do have the video management feature, which can be turned off to provide 4K video. However, the terms of service do specify that these plans are not intended for entertainment purposes. They're intended for business use. We have talked with AT&T's business representatives, and they say they do not block business or entertainment applications. However, they do reserve the right that if you do spend all day doing nothing but Netflix, they could do some sort of enforcement action if you're not using them for business purposes.
The
So
AT&T business plans are, yeah, it's a great option. We personally keep the advanced plan activated as part of our personal arsenal. And if we feel like we need 100 megabit per second, which we hardly ever need to do, we can up it for just a while and then bring it back down to the lower tier. So it's a very flexible plan. You can even do that mid-billing month. Another AT&T option is the FMCA does have, basically offers the standard plan through AT&T, but they offer it to their members on a month-to-month basis for $59.99 per month. And that one is a bring your own device plan. You can they provide a mobile hotspot device that you do have to have a one-time rental fee. I think it's $39.99. But you can move the SIM card to other devices as well. So if you don't want to deal with AT&T Business, because AT&T is a challenge to work with, if you've ever worked with the customer support, every time Chris has to call into AT&T support, he loses some hair. But yes, if you're a member of the FMCA, they do offer a similar plan for cheaper. So it's a great option as well. Let's go to the next one. Verizon does have a home internet option that is competing with T-Mobile's. It's not available in as many areas as T-Mobile's plans are, so it's not as popular with RVers. But just because you do have to have that address verification, there's just not as many places you can get it. But if you can get it, people have been traveling with the Verizon option, but we have heard varying levels of enforcement because they have the same terms of having to be used at your service address. And we have actually heard some reports of people getting contacted by Verizon and or getting cut off for using it in areas. It's not ubiquitous. It's not something that we've heard reliable enforcement on. So a lot of people are still using it in that way. And as T-Mobile works into address validation and enforcement of their terms, we would not be surprised to see Verizon upping their game with that as well. So if you're using Verizon Home Internet, just know that option is always, we consider it a little iffy. The FMCA also does have a Verizon plan. It's currently not available. They told us it's temporarily out, but that one does come and go. So sometimes there is a Verizon option as well. And Verizon has business plans too. These are 300 gigabyte caps, and they're also speed tiered. So they're not as attractive. They're not unlimited, but they are a great option. You'll notice T-Mobile on their comparison graph of the away plan to other options, they're doing it to consumer hotspot plans with 150 and 100 gigabyte caps, both on Verizon and AT&T. You notice those are not the plans we're recommending here. There are higher bandwidth plans available if you know how to shop for them. So hopefully we've given you some tips for that. Next option, we are getting a lot of questions about some of these global virtual SIM plans. You might hear from TravelFi, HomeFi. Connect 10 is very popular now because there's a lot of YouTube influencers promoting them right now. These are plans that basically you are given or you purchase a router from them. It has basically an eSIM inside that then talks to the provider, and they there have a bank of SIM cards on all the different carriers, and you basically are checking out that SIM card virtually to give you service. Now, most of them advertise that you will get the carrier that works best at your current location. I am a little skeptical of that, actually a lot skeptical of that, because we've actually tested some of these plans and they do not seem to pick up what is actually best. The technology is just really not there. We work with Mobile Must Have very closely. They are offering a version of this with their Peplink eSIM routers, and even they can't really tap into that with the high-end Peplink gear. And the routers that these providers have are typically very low-end LTE routers, limited features, limited, sometimes don't even cover all the frequency bands. Some of the ones out there like the Solus, and I think one of the one the TravelFi is using, doesn't even cover Verizon's band 13, which is Verizon's primary frequency band for long range coverage. So it's missing out on major coverage for the carriers. Basically what happens is you're getting the first SIM available and with a SIM card that costs them the least amount to provide you data. But they are an option. A lot of people are using them. They're happy with them. They just don't expect like the same speed you're going to get on a high-end router. You're not going to be able to do advanced networking with these sorts of routers. But if you just want a simple solution, you don't have to think about it. And if the carrier doesn't work at your location, it's going to try to connect you to the next carrier. But they are great options. We have not heard many issues with them out there. And even if the plans behind the scenes aren't, if the carrier pulls them from these providers like TravelFi or HomeFi, well, at least it's not the SIM card in your device and you have to wait for a new SIM card. All the provider has to do is get new plans activated and virtually it's mitigated. So we don't have too many concerns with the plans other than low-end router and just limited options. And a lot of these are high bandwidth plans. Some of them are unlimited and the costs vary a lot with the different providers. We do have a list of all those providers there if you want to go research some of the ones that are out there. And then there are traditional third-party plans that are out there. These are like the Nomad Internets, RV IT Guy, OTR, Bix Wireless, Mobile Must Have has them as well, Techno RV. These are reseller plans. Basically, these providers are not the carrier themselves. They somehow have acquired data plans direct with the carriers. Usually you are sent a physical SIM card with these to go into your router or hotspot. Sometimes you have to buy the hotspot from these providers. These, because anytime you're dealing not directly with the carrier, we consider them to have some volatility. The carrier can just change the terms of service. Even if they have legit plans with the carriers, they're not in control of the plans. Sometimes these organizations are not getting legit plans. Maybe they've got tablet plans or phone plans that they're somehow modifying to work on routers and hotspots, and once the carrier catches on, they discontinue them. We have a whole bunch of caveats about this style plan. If this is where the route you want to go, make sure you just go in with eyes wide open on these plans, because they work until they don't. So that is a wrap up of all of the data plan options, or most of the data plan options that we would recommend. Like I said, we have other ones for smartphones and tablets out there as well that you might consider if those sorts of devices are better suited for you. So go follow up with our top plan picks guide. There's a hotspot that Andy has there held up. What is our next slide? Oh yeah, all of this information. This is a free broadcast that we are doing. All of the content on our YouTube channel that you see is free content that is made possible by our premium members. YouTube forces us to put ads whether we take the money or not. So, the ads are going to be there on YouTube, but that is the only place that we have advertising. If you go to our written content, you will not see third-party ads in our content. We are not sponsored by any organization. We are not affiliate driven to have to try to sell you gear or plans. We strive to be unbiased and be able to give you unbiased information so you can go in with an educated background before you're making your decisions on what plans you go with, what purchases you go for. Our members get a lot of extra perks. They get a lot of in-depth content, educational content. They get alerts. They get a lot of this sort of interactive webinars. We do several of these webinars a month with them on different topics, Q&As, open topics. They have forums that they can ask questions of our staff. Andy is one of our head forum folks in there who answers our questions for us. We have educational classrooms, video courses, and we have a member newsletter that gets you alerts when stuff's going out. If you would like to join, help make our content possible, go further with our content, mobile internet's an important part of your lifestyle, we do recommend becoming a member. We are offering you a $10 discount if you use the code MERCLIVE. That's this video series to join and help make this stuff possible. Without a member support, none of this would be possible. The little bit of income that we get off of YouTube advertising does not cover the videos that we do in any shape, form. We have 8 members on our team that are paid staff members to cover all that we do. We have an incredible team that makes this all possible, and we've been doing this for 10 years. And without member support, there's no way we could do any of this. So we totally appreciate your support. So Q&As now? Do you have any questions?
Oh, we do have questions.
All right.
So we're ready. Do you guys have anything else to chat about? You're ready to dive into questions. So.
Did we cover it all, Andy? Let's answer questions for a little bit.
Questions here. So we had a question here. How many times can you change the address from Tyler?
On T-Mobile Home Internet,
Yeah, T-Mobile Home Internet.
There are currently no limitations on how many times you can change your address. If they roll out this new away plan, who knows if they might implement any caps on it and limit how many times you change your address. But at present time, you can't. But just remember, once they do have this address validation, you'll only be able to change your address to places where they actually offer the home internet plans.
So we have a kind of a wondering from Gopi, I think that's how you pronounce it, that if it's really an excess capacity is the whole truth, or are there unlimited plans? They're always kind of dangerous for providers. What will people really use? So I guess she's just wondering, is this really an excess capacity thing? How do they define the areas where they have service?
So T-Mobile has a lot of spectrum holdings with 5G. They were really ahead of the curve, purchasing a lot of long-range spectrum, both with their acquisition of Sprint as well as their Band 71 purchase of the 600 megahertz spectrum. I think that auction was in 2016 when they purchased a lot. So they have been planning their 5G rollout. So in areas where they have excess capacity to offer home internet services, that's where they're offering the services. And sometimes you'll get congestion. These plans are at the lowest of the barrel. So someone who has a priority mobile internet plan with T-Mobile will get faster speeds when everyone's streaming Netflix in the evenings. And we do hear complaints of people who are in 5G home internet areas who do get slower speeds on their home internet. It's also based upon where they know they have enough signal to get to your home location from the towers. Andy, do you have any other comments on that?
Yeah, we have heard about areas that have had excess capacity, and then they have had a bunch of signups of home internet there, and T-Mobile has shut off signups for that area because they've basically determined that they don't no longer have excess capacity there. So
Yes, and T-Mobile has found that people are using terabytes of data and are bringing congestion to the towers. So that's why earlier this year they implemented that 1.2 terabyte cap, where after you use 1.2 terabytes of data, that's a lot of data, by the way. Um, you get a lower priority, so you could even be slowed down behind other customers who haven't used that much data yet. So they are implementing ways to better manage that capacity in an area.
We got a comment from Dennis. You noticed that for people who don't have a lot of usage, the T-Mobile 30 gigabyte for $10 plan is a great option. And indeed, we actually have that installed on our bus that we left
Yeah.
in storage.
Yeah. So T-Mobile has a little hidden plan. It's 30 gigabytes of data for $10 per month that you can use on routers and hotspots. It's a great backup option. It is not going to provide enough data to replace what you use with a home internet plan.
And another comment from Travis pointing out the value of having multiple plans. So we don't recommend just having one plan.
Absolutely.
Definitely have multiples.
Absolutely. If you need a reliable mobile internet solution on the road, no one provider is going to do it all. We actually did a case study. Chris and I, we recorded our last van trip over last fall. We did 47 stops and an 8,000-mile cross-country trip, and we recorded what worked at each location. And there were places where we could not get any connectivity. We had 4 locations where we could not get any service at all. But there are several locations where only one of the carriers or Starlink, including Starlink, worked, or one was best. And definitely there's variability out there, and definitely having multiple sources that you can bring together, especially if you're doing a broadcast like this where you need a reliable upload speed. We always use bonded connections with multiple sources. And that's why we love Peplink gear, because they provide that bonded source pretty easily.
A question from Rodrigo wondering, is Visible a good option for mobile users?
You want to take that one, Andy?
yeah, Visible's a great option for mobile users, but it is a smartphone only plan. Um,
Okay.
so it does run on the Verizon network, and it is a great value option because it does provide unlimited data. It is a prepaid plan. It is owned by Verizon. It's Verizon's prepaid brand, and it is very popular. It does provide a lot of value. Um, so we like it. Lots of members on our team have Visible, um, but just realize it's a smartphone only plan, so you can't use it for data only and a mobile hotspot or a router.
So it does provide unlimited personal mobile hotspot off of the smartphone on their Plus plan. They call it Plus, right? Um, that is at now 10 megabit per second speed. So that's pretty usable for most sorts of things. But video is supposed to be capped at SD resolution. So it's not something that if you like high resolution video that you might not like it. Um, and it does, their high end plan does offer coverage in Canada and Mexico. So it's really flexible. I think it provides the 2 gigabytes per day of data in those countries. So it's a very flexible plan for a smartphone plan. It is a top pick for smartphones. The high-end plan is only $45 per month, and they have a basic plan. If you don't need all those features, you only want it has 5 megabit per second speeds on their hotspot, and that plan I think is $25 per month. So we do have a whole guide to Visible at rvmobileinternet.com/visible with all the details on that. You can view our videos and content on the Visible plans.
We had a nice comment from Travis, just encouraging people to check out our site because of all the great info and content, and the forums, which are members only. So
right. Yeah. A lot of content on the website for free that goes along with this YouTube content. And then our members, a lot of our articles, we actually do member exclusive analysis in them. And then our members, of course, follow up with comments on the articles or in our forums and get feedback from our team as well as, of course, the in-depth educational guides and stuff that we have to help you make informed decisions, as well as our reviews, because we get a lot of hands-on time with the data plans, with all the equipment that we talk about, and our members get exclusive access to our testing notes and our reviews of that equipment.
Okay.
And discounts. Did I mention discounts?
Oh, yeah, you did mention discounts.
Yeah, that's the biggest perk. So a lot of the vendors that we work with, Mobile Must Have,
TechnoRV.
TechnoRV, um, Visible, and things like that, they give our members special discounts because we
Yeah.
don't accept the affiliates for our members.
So
So
instead of
basically, what we would earn as affiliate kickbacks, we give to our members. So if you're looking at an expensive purchase, like if you're, Peplink gear sometimes can get up into $1,500, $2,000. Your 10% savings is going to save you more than our membership will, and you'll go in knowing that you've purchased something that's right for you.
We're running out of questions. So any final people want to queue them up, but a few more comments left here. Cherish the Journey says an endorsement for the T-Mobile business plan there. Dove points out if Siri knows your address, then T-Mobile knows that you're not at your address. And indeed, the towers know you're not at your address, in addition to the devices having GPS.
Yeah, we don't know when Verizon and T-Mobile actually do this address validation. Are they going to do it by GPS location compared to your service address? Or, another thing is they can actually have the gateway locked to a specific tower. We've heard a lot of people hear that from T-Mobile representatives that that's how they're going to do it. We won't know until they do it. We will not know how they actually do this address validation.
Travis is wanting to know that you can use your own device with T-Mobile Business.
Oh, yes. The T-Mobile Business, as we covered on that slide, is you can use it in your own device. And if you're one of our members, be sure to follow up with our T-Mobile Business Gear Center entry for a lot of details on that, including if you're thinking of Peplink, some special mobile must-have tips there.
So Terry is wondering about how to determine how much data they actually need.
We have a guide for that. If you go to the Mobile Internet Resource Centers, rvmobileinternet.com/assessing, I believe is the guide. We actually walk our members through how to assess how much data that they need. And one of the tips is, contact your current provider and see if they give you any counter of how much data you need. Some of our members, we recommend just getting a basic cellular data plan, or try using the hotspot off of your current smartphone plan. Try using that for a day and then calculate and get a kind of an estimate of how much data you need.
So CD Alexander is wondering about Spectrum home internet and getting a SIM that they can use for other devices.
Do you know anything about that one, Andy?
I think, no, I don't. I think the Spectrum, not a SIM that you can use in a Netgear Nighthawk M5. Spectrum has a plan similar to the Xfinity that's for smartphones, but I'm not familiar with any sort of data plan that you can use in a mobile hotspot.
Yeah, and
I'll have to look into that.
Their data on their phone SIMs is limited. It is not unlimited. They have hard caps on it, even though they call it unlimited. It's very similar to Xfinity, and it is definitely not authorized for use in a mobile hotspot device. Their rep is giving you incorrect information and putting you in violations of terms of service by doing that.
Question from a person whose name I cannot pronounce, wondering about upgrading to the new T-Mobile Gateways with external antenna support.
Basically, T-Mobile is only replacing the gateways for existing customers if you have a warranty claim.
Roger is wondering about when you are using an HDMI port, is that considered hotspot or on-device data? I guess using it to display to a big screen.
Right. So the carriers consider personal mobile hotspot to include using the personal hotspot feature off of your smartphone to create a Wi-Fi network off of your smartphone, or tethering with a USB cable to your device. Now, if you're using a HDMI adapter so that you are actually just mirroring the data, so like if you want it to go to a larger TV screen to do video streaming or something like that, that is using on-device data. We go over that in our guide for TV and entertainment. That's rvmobileinternet.com/TV. A lot of information there, both for Android and iOS devices, on ways to mirror off of so you're basically, your phone is streaming all of the data. It's doing the Netflix streaming. All you're doing is casting the image to a larger screen. That's a great way to use the unlimited data on your phone.
Alan is wondering, do we have any recommendations for external antennas for the T-Mobile Gateway router?
There's a lot of great options out there for antennas. Our antenna guru, Andy Hull, has been testing a lot of the antennas out there. So basically any 4x4 MIMO antenna, and it really comes down to form factor and what you can install on your RV or boat or whatever you're installing for. So yeah, if you're one of our members, go look at our antenna selection guide, rvmobileinternet.com/cellular antennas, and then you can dive into Andy Hull's testing notes. He has a whole antenna guru lab that he shares his testing results with, and then all of the reviews of the antennas that we have in there. So that's member exclusive content that you can access if you're one of our members.
So we are caught up on questions. So we had up to 160 people tuned in simultaneously.
That is amazing. Thank you for joining in. And thank you, Andy, for being here with us and tracking this information. I know I did a lot of the talking, but Andy does a lot of the research. And he does the part I don't like. He actually will call the carriers and talk to them.
That's a secret shopper.
Yeah, it's a glutton for punishment. I deal with a lot of reps.
So thank you for joining in on this Merc Live. We're going to be doing these Merc Live chats probably about every 6 to 8 weeks. We'll pick a topic. Our last one was comparing the Starlink standard Gen 2 versus Gen 3 dish, which we did that with our teammate Dan Hemming, our Starlink expert. So you can go back and look at that one. And our first one was relaying my and Chris's case study. So you can go back and look at that as well with that 47-stop fan trip that we did. Don't know what our topic will be next. I think we might be going over international travel because Andy is about to head to Europe and be testing international data for us. It makes it a work trip, right?
Yeah, it's rough. Somebody's got to do it.
So again, if you appreciate this free content that we're able to provide here on this YouTube channel, remember that this is part of the entire Mobile Internet Resource Center. We have a full website, a lot of free content there that you can tap into as well. Use the search bar so that you can find whatever you're looking for. We have a lot of guides, a lot of gear information, a lot of articles that go along with these videos. And if this is the sort of content that you appreciate, you want to make sure that keeps happening. We do have different membership levels that you can help support this content and go further with our content. So please do become a member, help us make this possible, and let us help you in our member areas as well. If you're one of our members, thank you sincerely for making this possible. I'm sure everyone who is tuning in to this video that is not a member also appreciates your contribution to making this happen.
Well, I think that's it. So thank you, everyone.
Yes, so thank you for joining us. And we will see you at our next Merc Live. And of course, we'll continue making a lot of videos before then. Thanks again, Andy. See you all next time.
Thanks all.